Hello everyone, this is day 9 of 69 days of code. I'm Rajat Upadhyay, and today we are going to look into yet another interesting topic in software engineering, and that topic is TypeScript. So I have been looking to learn TypeScript for a long time now. TypeScript is really amazing thing, right? You know, those sort of things that actually make you a very great programmer, right? That take the strain away of bad code, and right, the strain of bad code, and those sort of things that take the strain of bad code from your mind, and those sort of things. So if you want to write good code, if you want to write code that people would understand, if you want to write more predictable code, and if you love static typing instead of dynamic typing, TypeScript is the thing that you want to learn. Okay, and I learned it in the last few days, and it's really amazing. I'm still learning it, and I guess I've learned the basics, so I can create a video over it right now. And let's start looking into TypeScript. So what is TypeScript? First of all, let's define TypeScript. So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Okay, it's nothing but a superset of JavaScript. So in school, right, in 11th class or 12th class, or if you studied C and C++, right, your teacher must have told you that C++ is a superset of C, right? So that means that C++ has all the basic functions of C, plus it has some extra functions, right? So it is a superset, right? It's a superset. It's like the India, and inside India there is Delhi, right? So India is TypeScript, Delhi is JavaScript, right? So something like that. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, right? And you can have all the features of JavaScript inside TypeScript. Plus, it adds more feature of static typing, right? So what is static typing? Static typing means defining the type of the object or the variable or whichever memory location you are defining before the compilation, right? So that means whenever we are creating variables in JavaScript, how do we create it? So if you want to create a local scope variable, you create let, right? Let name is equals to Ashton Kutcher, or var name is equals to Steve Jobs, right? Something like that. Or const name is equals to whatever you want to create, Paul Jobs, right? So, but in this case, can you also set var name is equals to 2, or var name is equals to 23, or 78, or 69, right? So in that case, what is happening is the same variable which was supposed to have the value of a string, now it is also having a value of integer, right? So there is no static typing over there. But in case of C++, right, if you look at it, you already define the type of variable that you want to use, right? So if you want to use an integer, right, you write int a is equals to something, right? If you want to use a character, you write char a is equals to something. If you want to use a string, right, you include hash include string dot h, and then you create string name is equals to Steve Jobs or something like that, right? So similarly, doing static typing in JavaScript, we use TypeScript for that. Okay, and it's not only on variables, it is on objects, it is on arrays, it is even on functions. Okay, you can create interfaces on it, right? So if you are from Java background, you must have heard of interfaces. They are like blueprints of classes. You cannot create instances out of it, but they are used as blueprints, right? So let's look into that. Lots of talk, and we are going to look into some code now. So I'm going to share my screen. So what I have over here is a basic HTML file. Okay, some screenshots that I took while I was learning TypeScript. Okay, so I'm just going to create another folder over here, notes. Okay, I'm going to put these screenshots over there. You can access them if you want. Okay, so what we have over here is index.html, which is nothing but we have a title document, and it's nothing actually. Okay, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to open it over here, right? It's nothing basically. If you go to inspect, go to console, and I have I am JavaScript, and yes, of course, I am unpredictable, right? So let's refresh it, and we get the message over there, right? So it is well connected. This index.html script 2.js are well connected. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to create a variable over here, and I'm going to explain you the basic difference between TypeScript and the JavaScript, and the need for TypeScript, right? So let's store this inside a variable. Let's call it wisdom. Okay. And then let's say console.log wisdom. Okay, and then I'm going to say wisdom is equals to 78. or our favorite number 69. Console.log wisdom. Now, this wisdom, it was supposed to be a message. It was supposed to be some words of wisdom, right? That we are going to store inside a variable wisdom, right? But what is happening is now this wisdom is being assigned to a number, which does not make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. Of wisdom is a number, right? Wisdom is a bunch of characters, right? It's a quote, or it's some sort of ancient wisdom that we are giving, imparting to the people who are visiting our website, right? But now it is being assigned to a number, and if you refresh the screen right now, we can see that it is okay. There is no error over here, nothing over here, not even a warning, right? So the problem is over here is there is no static typing. By mistake, you can assign any value to any variable, and we are not going to get it, get the error or warning inside it, right? And maybe if we do not look at it properly, right, it may go unnoticed in our application, right? So the problem over here is we need some static typing. So to eliminate that, you can say, potential error of having different types of values inside a variable, you need static typing. Okay, so how do we write static typing? First step, okay, let's go step by step. You need to install TypeScript into your system. So how do you do that? You say npm install TypeScript. Simple, right? Npm package manager, we have it over here, TypeScript. npm package node package manager, right? So you're going to install that. I already have it installed. I'm not going to install it. And just do one more thing, just put a -g over here to install it globally everywhere, so you can use it within any project you create. Okay, once this is done, then you will be able to access something called tsc. Okay, tsc is the command line, is the command for handling TypeScript. Okay, and you can see that I'm getting the version, so I have TypeScript installed, right? Now, whenever we are going to create some TypeScript files, you're not going to create script.js, you're going to create script.ts, TypeScript, JavaScript, TypeScript. So let's create another file, script2.ts. Okay, and let's create some, let's create the same thing over here. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. And this time I'm going to put a colon string. So what does, let me just comment this out. So what is colon string? Colon string means the variable wisdom is of type, this colon means is of type string. Okay, now there are two sort of things. There is a capital string, okay, capital S string, and there is a small s string. Always, and similarly like that, there is a small n number, there is a capital N number. Okay, always remember to use small letters. Okay, okay, so always remember to use small letter numbers, not capital letter numbers. I'm going to use string over here, right? Remember that. And it is, wisdom is a type of string. Okay, and the string is this, and console.log wisdom, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to use this tsc compiler, this TypeScript compiler, to compile this TypeScript code into JavaScript code, right? So how do we do that? We say tsc scripted2.ts, and we leave it like that and press enter. As soon as I press enter, this whatever content is written over in this ts file will be compiled into JavaScript and put over here. Okay, in the file of a similar name, script2.js. Okay, I'm going to enter, press enter. Let's wait for it. Done. And you can see over here that we had this commented out. We have this commented out, right? And if we refresh it right now, everything works fine. This is our first successfully working TypeScript code together. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's see how TypeScript avoids such sort of errors that we just saw in this example. Okay, I'm going to uncomment this, and you can directly see I got this silly line below wisdom, and it's saying error, right? There is an error over here. Type number is not assignable to type string, right? So that is very very basic example of a TypeScript, right? Okay, now let's start by assigning a string. So now this is a string, right? We have it in the single quotation marks. This is string. This works fine, proper, nothing, no errors, right? So let's just compile this again, and it is compiled. Awesome, right? Let's refresh it, and we can see 69 over there, right? Because this time it is a string, right? Now this is a very, very basic example of TypeScript, right? We are just creating one variable string and we are assigning it to it. Now, even if you don't externally specify that this is a string, right, it is going to maintain it by itself. So whichever initial value you provide this variable, TypeScript will make sure that this wisdom is of that type only. So if I make it right like this, 69 again it will say type number is not assignable to type string. So when you are writing code in TypeScript, you don't need to specify externally. It is a string, right? Because whenever you are assigning this wisdom, what is the first value this wisdom variable is getting? It is a string. So TypeScript is going to say, okay, the first value that this variable got is a string. So this has to be of type string. Okay. But people have different ways. I like externally specifying it because that gives me sort of a feel that, okay, I'm writing TypeScript. Okay. Done, right? This is very basic. And let's create another one. Let's call it where marks. Let's see how much marks the wisdom got us. Number 10. Not a lot of marks for people with wisdom. Okay, console.log marks. If you say marks is equals to some string, hey, what you're going to see again the error. Let me comment that out. Again the same error. This time type string is not assigned to type number, right? So we are going to get an error. But if I assign this to a number, no error, right? So now again, every time I'm coming over here, every time I'm running this command again and again, there is a way around it. So tsc script 2.ts -w. -w means watch the file. Every time I press Ctrl+S on my keyboard and save the TypeScript file, this is going to automatically compile it. This is similar to nodemon and node, right? Nodemon and node in Node.js. Let's run it, and it is going to watch for Ctrl+S command, right? Saving the file command, and it will automatically compile it. So if I refresh it, 1000, no problems, right? This is the type number. Now there is a type array, right? So let's say where friends, the type array. Okay, and you can define a type of string, and it like this. Cannot find array, capital array, right? Friends. So Jon Snow, Tywin Lannister, Danny, right? Now you can see that it is an array of type string. So I have 3 strings over here, and I don't get any errors over here, right? I'm going to say console.log friends, and let's refresh it, and we have the elements over there. But what if I try to assign a number over here like 23? This is a type of array of strings. Array of strings. You cannot write a number over there, right? So you're going to get an error over here as type number is not assignable to type string. Again, the same error, right? So this is so amazing, right? This is amazing, right? And let's try something that I haven't tried yet. Let's try push. And if we push a string, right? Let's say Jamie Lannister. And if I try to push this time a number, I haven't tried this actually. 200. Okay, yeah, we get an error, right? So this time also we are getting an error. So even if you try to push into the array, right, it's going to give you an error. So this is another great example of TypeScript. And if you want both numbers and strings, you see this string, right? Just put or over here, or symbol, and write a number. Now it can accept both numbers and strings, right? What happened? Right. Let me just look into this string and number. Right, that's what I want. And why am I getting an error? Just remove this. Right. I think it was causing some issues because of the JavaScript file. Okay. Right. So this time it has compiled, and if you want multiple type of elements, right? Multiple data types, you can just provide a or over here and just write number. Also, one more thing, decimal point numbers, integers, everything is included inside this number type only. Okay. So you don't need to specifically write float. If you write number, it will include integers, it will include decimal point numbers and everything. Okay. So if I write over here 23.212, right? See, no errors, right? It is working properly. If I refresh it, we are able to get that data over here, right? So this is amazing, right? This is comment this out and create another type, and this type it is going to be a object type. Okay, so let's say friends and best friend. Okay, so I'm going to say object, and let's say a name. Let's call it Priyank. Just the name of one of my friends. Okay. Gender unknown. just playing around. Okay, so right. So this is giving an error again because of this. So I'm just going to remove this and see it is all right. Okay. So if I refresh it right now, okay, we need to console log it. Console.log best friend. Okay, refresh it and we get the best friend over there. What if I try to make it an array? We're going to get an error, right? Generate type array requires one type argument. Okay, so okay, let's provide an argument string. Okay, so now it is going to give us an array that this is not assignable type string. This is a object. This is not assignable type string, right? So if you make an object back again, everything is happy and good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify the schema of an object, right? Now this is very simple object, right? But I'm going to specify the schema of an object. So schema is name. There should be a name inside that object, which should be a string, and there should be a gender of type string. Find the schema over here. What is the use of the schema? Let me just refresh and show you. Okay, this is all right. Everything is working fine. Schemas uses, if I try to add some other, you can say key inside of it, right? Another key inside of this object, another attribute, age 23. I'm going to get an error. Type this is not assignable to type that, because there is no key or you can say key or attribute over here by age. So if I write it over here inside the schema, age, number, everything is fine again, right? Also, if I try to remove one of the keys that should be present over there, like this, if I remove this, right, we're going to get an error. Okay. Property gender is missing in type name string, but required in type this. Okay, so this gender is required, right? So now this everything is working fine. So this is how you can create type of objects, right? You can define you can define the objects itself, right? Now, what if this is going to get bigger, right? This can get bigger. This can get bigger based on the type of object that you have. So you can create an interface. Interface. What is an interface? An interface is like a blueprint that you're going to use, right? So it does not have an object of its own, right? You do not call it anywhere, but it is a blueprint that you give it to someone else, some other function, some other object, some other variable, and they refer to it and they match that blueprint with their own data. Okay, so I'm going to say name is going to be string, gender is going to be string. Okay, and I'm going to say person will come over here, right? Like this. Okay, like this. Best friend, age is missing. Age is missing. Okay, let me just refer back to my code that I wrote. Okay, I don't think we need a comma over here. We don't. This is a name of string, age of number, E is a type of person, right? Gender is missing. Let's just make it a friend type. Okay, type of friend. I think it is confusing itself in both the files. It's not person, it's friend. Okay, friend. So it is a type of, I think, yeah, these two files were getting confused. I had a person over here also, and I had a person, and I named the same interface over here also. The files were collapsing with each other or something. Okay, so interface friend, and it should be a type string, gender string, and we have specified friend over here, right? So it's very simple, easy, right? You can even specify like this, array of friends, right? So whenever you want to perform these sort of, you can say complicated operations, right? You can create it like this, and I'm just going to put an array. Now it is an array of best friends, right? Amazing, awesome, no errors, right? Refresh it, it works, done. Okay, so this is how it is going to work, and this is another type. Let's look into the final type that we are going to look into today. Okay, so the final type is the function type. Okay, so if you want to define a function, let name me someone, or let's say give me a number, and it's going to be a function type. Okay, and give me a number is going to be a function like this. Let's give him a number, just anything. Okay, call it this number, right? So this is going to be a function type, and it is okay. Cannot redeclare block scope variable, right? Okay, Sorry. Okay, this works fine. So what if I try to assign it to something else? Let's say this is working fine, right? So if I call it, give me a number, it will work fine, right? If I refresh it, we are going to console log that number. Okay, so this is the function type. But what if I try to assign something else? Let's say 234. We get an error over here. This expression is not callable. First of all, remove that. Okay. Come on. Yeah, now it will show us the error once it compiles it. Right, we are going to get an error over here. Type number is not assignable to type function. Okay, you cannot assign a number to a type which is a function. So you have to assign a function only. So let's go back and give it a function again. So if I refresh it, we are going to get our data back, right? So this is TypeScript: strings, numbers, arrays, objects, interface, and function, right? So all these different sort of data types, or you can say static typing things, or whatever you can call it, data types or something. Okay, this is how you can use it in TypeScript. Okay, if you write code in Angular actually the latest version always come along with TypeScript installed. So, but in React, I don't think it comes along with that. So I have been writing some Angular code lately, and I thought that maybe I should look into TypeScript properly as in depth, right? So I just looked into it, and it is really amazing. You can use it, and you have already seen how it can prevent some errors, or future errors, or potential errors, or warnings, or something like that from happening inside your code. Also make it more predictable, easy to read, and it is just more impressive that you are using static typing in a language that does not support static typing. JavaScript does not support static typing by itself, right? We are creating TypeScript. We are using TypeScript for it, right? So that is really impressive. Even if you show it in your code, your personal code in interviews, sometimes it is really impressive. So learn TypeScript, and I'm going to put this code inside day 10. I'm sorry, this I guess day 9 of 69 days of code inside the GitHub repo. You're going to get the link for the GitHub repo in the description box. You're going to get all the links that I referred while studying TypeScript, all the notes inside the README of that GitHub repo. Okay. So you can also make contributions if you want. I'm just going to share my screen, quickly show you the GitHub repo. Okay. So this is the GitHub repo for 69 days of code. If you are also following 69 days of code, 30 days of code, 50 days of code, 100 days of code, whichever days of code, okay, you can make your contributions inside this contributions folder. Already many contributions have come in. Okay, and you can refer to the code that I have written during these videos inside the code folder inside day 9 TypeScript. Okay, and you will find all the links which I studied, okay, all the videos that I watched and everything else, all the notes and everything over here, right? So I'm going to push it over there and provide the link for this in the description box below. So this is TypeScript. In one of the coming classes, we're going to look into more other things. Okay, I don't know what we're going to look into, but let's see. Maybe we'll look into Swagger documentation, okay, or maybe JWT. So I've been thinking of doing JWT for a long time. I just did JWT. Actually, I knew JWT from the starting, but really getting inside it, really understanding it properly. So that sort of thing. We can do JWT, and after that we can do Swagger and read-out documentations as well, which I have been doing lately in one of my projects. Okay. So see you next time. Don't forget to contribute in 69 days of code if you are writing the code on your own side.